Social media management is notorious for being high pressure, competitive, and changing literally every day, which is why it isn't surprising that most social media managers get burned out within the first 2 years. So how do you keep going? How do you stay up with the latest updates, protect your mental health, and build a successful social media management business that supports your lifestyle goals? Whether that's working from home with your kiddos or jet setting around the world, that's what this show is all about. Welcome to Social Media Manager Confidential. I'm Shanté Gorman, founder of a 6-figure social media management agency and mentor to social media managers. And I'm here to dish on the ins and outs of the social media management world without any of the gatekeeping that can come along with it. You'll learn, you'll laugh, and you'll leave each episode inspired. Let's dive into today's episode. Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Social Media Manager Confidential. So I have something important to share with you. You may have noticed from the episode title, but this is the season 1 finale of Social Media Manager Confidential podcast. It's not going away forever, but I do have some exciting things in the works that I need to devote my resources towards in order to get it off the ground. And I'll definitely share more about what that means further along in this episode, so stay tuned for that. But first, I want to wrap up the part 2 of Social Media Manager, the Q&A with Shanté from last episode. So I'm going to go ahead, get handy little screenshots out, and try to rapid fire as many answers as I can. Okay, so first question is from Food Forest Goddess, and she says, how do you manage burnout and anxiety? Okay, so this is one of those things that I had to learn through experience the hard way. I have been through burnout so many times. Honestly, anxiety is one of those things that I still deal with on a weekly basis. And I will say, when it comes to both of these things, I think they kind of fuel themselves. So aside from getting professional help, whether that's therapy or medication or whatever it is that is best for you, that does a huge amount for me personally, was going to therapy on a weekly basis for an extended period of time. I also do take depression, anxiety medications. Like, all of this is helpful. It doesn't eliminate it, but it definitely helps me deal with it in a healthier way. I also have learned when it comes to burnout and creative burnout specifically that I need to make sure I have specific times for myself and my brain to be creative in a way that has nothing to do with my work. And sometimes that isn't necessarily creating, but consuming. And I'm consuming in a way that fuels my creativity. It helps my brain just rest and not constantly be in that creation mode. So, I mean, it's not even anything like super innovative. I love watching TV, like Netflix. I like watching K-dramas. They're very cinematic. The plots keep me engaged. The characters keep me engaged. It's also, I like to watch the rom-coms of it. So it's also funny. Most of them are pretty light. And it's just like a safe way for me to decompress, but also really focus on something that has nothing to do with work. I also like to read same type of books, rom-coms. I do like nonfiction books about work and like marketing and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say that helps with burnout. That does the opposite because it gives me a bunch of ideas that I want to execute right away, which doesn't help with burnout. I also have set hours that I unplug every day, especially in the evenings when my kids are home. I am not working. I'm not responding to DMs. Sometimes I am naughty and I do, but for the most part, I turn off notifications and like a do not disturb setting on my phone when it comes to notifications. So I'm not constantly being pinged or like having FOMO or wanting to check the different social medias. I do allow myself to scroll on social media, but I don't use it in the same way I do when I'm working. So most of the time I go to TikTok or YouTube Shorts for my non-work content, and that's just entertaining type stuff. And then all of the other platforms are what I use for work stuff. So that's kind of how I help separate it in my brain. I also never work on the weekends. I make sure that I can just do what I need to do, whatever my body needs to refuel, whether that's sleeping, whether it's relaxing, whether it's going outside, spending time with family and friends, going and doing something fun, learning something new, going somewhere to eat. Like there's a lot of things that I have figured out and really paid attention to of what fuels me and helps me feel energized and restored. And so I do make sure that I balance that out along with work stuff. And that's definitely something, like I said, I learned the hard way. I've burned out so many times. So recognizing the signs of burnout and also paying attention to the things that give you energy is a great way to help balance all of those things. Okay. Do you have any AI course recommendations? This is from Gably the Mayor. Yes. So I haven't taken them myself, but I have been eyeing the courses from Bemused Studio, I believe is the name. They are super into AI. I have been so impressed with the things that they have been posting about and their work and all of those things. I will link it in the show notes for you so you can take a peek. Again, I have not taken it, but I am very, very impressed and definitely heavily considering it. Another question by Ladies Lead. Do you ever feel like you're about to get fired when some of your posts for clients did not perform well? Sometimes I have felt that, especially when I was newer and I really felt like the content performance was the only reason the clients hired me. And sometimes that was the case. Sometimes clients had expectations where every piece of content needed to perform really, really well. And if it didn't, it was proof that I was not a good hire or I did not have the skill set. Sometimes they were right and sometimes they were wrong. And it's one of those things where as I became more experienced and I learned more, I realized that if a client is hiring you just so posts perform well, and they don't have realistic expectations about platform updates and testing content, like A/B testing, and also different types of content have different goals. I have had clients specifically, potential clients come to me and say, hey, we really want your help. We want our content to perform better, but we also want to grow and we want sales. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about what you're currently doing. Cause I always like to ask that first just to get a good feel for where they currently are with things. And I have had them really hesitate when I've told them, well, some posts just aren't going to perform well because you're selling, you're pitching, you're wanting people to go away from the app. You want them to go to your website, things like that. And so it's normal and natural for those call to action posts to not get as much engagement or growth because people aren't engaging or following from those. They're going to your website. And that really stopped them in their tracks and they weren't comfortable with that. It didn't work out for them to do that. That wasn't their priority. They wanted to prioritize engagement over that. And that's their prerogative. It's their business. Again, we are the babysitters, not the parents. They make their decisions. And we ended up not working together because our philosophies didn't mesh, which is totally fine. But I will say, if your clients are going to fire you over content performance, they're honestly doing you a favor because content performance and what it is that you do don't always align. Like it doesn't necessarily mean you're bad at your job or you should get fired. I've posted about this so many times of basically how to prove your value as a social media manager. That isn't ROI, which is return on investment. So it's really difficult to translate social media, organic social media, into how that's generating sales for businesses. But it's also, you're doing a lot more for them aside from just content performance. So as long as people hire social media managers, not just to get like tangible results, which is the posts or the engagement or clicks or whatever it is that they are wanting, but you're also saving them a lot of time. You are the expert. You have the knowledge and the specialty. You're doing all of this on their behalf. So it's saving them time. It's saving them energy. It's saving them just like the stress of having to do it all. They have someone in their back pocket doing it for them. So you can't force your client to value something that they don't value, but it's definitely something to keep in mind when you are interviewing potential clients to like use that as a screening method of how stressful this work experience will be for you if you do take this client on. I'm going to slide right in here and interrupt for just a moment to let you know that you are personally invited to join the Sugar Punch community for social media managers. Inside this community, social media managers like you come together to meet and support one another, get answers to burning questions, and build a thriving social media management business. It's 100% free, plus you'll get access to exclusive trainings and resources, be invited to special events, participate in fun challenges, get added to our social media manager directory, and more. Create your free account by going to community.sugarpunchmarketing.com. I'll link it in the show notes for you. See you inside. Now back to today's episode. Next question comes from Jenna. Do reel covers matter? Is it just a way to make a feed look nicer for your portfolio? Yes, I do think they matter. Not necessarily in a way that, oh, this has to be aesthetic. This has to match this feed pattern, which if you've been a listener for a while, you know how I feel about feed patterns that are checkerboards and stuff like that. But when it comes to reel covers, the purpose of a reel cover is the same as like a YouTube thumbnail. So yes, reels will show up on someone's feed if they're scrolling through reels, but that's only for that life cycle of the reel, which could be a few days, could be a few months if it's doing really well. But once that life cycle is over, it's basically old content. However, people will also scroll through your feed when they first discover you. And if it's something they really like, they'll start binging your content. And this is where the Reels covers do come in handy, because if you have a catchy hook and it's very clear about what this specific video is about, people will then go and click on that reel and start watching it, engaging with it and consuming whatever value it has. So yes, essentially, yes, they are important, but possibly not for the reason that you think that they might be important for. What's the best way to tell a client you're not sending a new contract? You want to break up. This is from Her Little Village. I mean, it depends on how long you've been working with this client. It may be best to have a call with them. And we always want to start nice with, I've really loved working together. Or maybe you haven't, but I've appreciated the opportunity to work with you and getting to know your business, and just really emphasizing the things you have liked about it or what you have learned. And then we go into, but I wanted to have an important conversation with you, which is kind of how I started this episode, because there are some things that I want you to know so that you can plan ahead. And then you can tell them, so our contract is going to be ending on this date. You are technically up for renewal on this date, but I wanted to let you know that I have decided not to continue the contract or not to pursue renewing the contract, maybe because it's not a good fit, or we're changing the project scope, or we're increasing our prices and blah, blah, blah. But basically, you want to phrase it as a way where it's not personal. It's not like a personal attack or anything like that. It's just business. And it is in their best interest that you do not renew. Maybe it's not a good fit. Maybe you don't like the content. Whatever it is, you can always say, I don't want to leave you stranded. We still have 30 days to finish this out. I'm more than happy to recommend you to people who I feel like might be a better fit, and, have a call with them to catch them up on what we've been doing so the handoff is seamless for you. All of the things where they're feeling very taken care of, like you still care about them. You're not just like breaking up with them and dropping. That's a good way to handle it and to provide customer service. If they're a pain in the butt client though, and you don't want to go through doing all of that, they've been disrespectful, they're underpaying you, they've made you feel terrible, there've been conflict and tension, you don't have to offer that to them. You can just say, we're not a good fit, and here is when we're going to be ending the contract. I do have a script for firing clients in the community. It's one of the free resources, so you can always use that if you need to. And there's also one on raising your prices if that is something you also need to do. Okay, we have time for one more question, and it is from Linda. Advice for social media managers wanting to start taking clients but are terrified of taking calls and talking on the spot. So the reason that you are afraid, my guess, is that you are new to this. You haven't taken on calls, you haven't talked to clients, and it's just something you haven't experienced yet. And that's normal. Being afraid of doing something new that you've never done before is totally normal feeling. You're not sure what to expect. You don't know what's going to go down. You're afraid to make a mistake or mess up. And accepting that you are going to mess up and it's something to learn from, which is what I talked about a little bit in the last Q&A that we did, is part of the process of learning what to do, figuring out what works and what doesn't, and being okay with the fact that you're going to mess up and you're going to make mistakes. Chances are you're not going to book the first 5 people that you talk to if you don't have any sales skills, if you've never done discovery calls or anything like that. They are learning experiences. They are practice. And I do talk a lot more about this, as well as different mindset techniques and shifts that you can do in my Getting Clients class. There's a whole module on just mindset and sales and getting more comfortable with those calls. There's also scripts if you need those, as well as like how to respond to their questions, or like, oh, this is a little more than I thought. Like, there's scripts for all of those things to guide you into how to deal with that in a very ethical, non-pushy, just giving them information type of way. So I'll link that in the show notes if you're interested in taking a look at that. Now, I will say when it comes to, this is a great segue, when it comes to trying something new and being afraid, I am currently going through that right now. So I read a book recently called, let me find it. It's called Founder Brand, written by Dave Gerhardt, I think is the name. It's a bright yellow book. I'll show it on my YouTube screen for those who are watching the episode. But basically, it was all about how you should build in public, and that helps build interest about what it is you're doing. So these last few months, I've been really feeling like this need for a huge shift in what my business does, specifically my agency side. And things just have been happening and feel a little bit out of alignment with me and haven't been as fulfilling as it has been in the past. So at first I was like, I just want to burn it all down and start over. And then I was like, well, maybe I'm just having a bad day. And so I've sat on it and sat on it and sat on it. And as I've sat on it, and as I was reading this book, I was like, no, this feels right. This feels like something I want to do. I feel like it'll be successful. And so then I kind of started talking to people about my idea. And I got so much, oh my gosh, that sounds so great. That would be amazing. You should go for it. And so that's what gave me the confidence to really try this out. Plus, I have started from scratch already. So I have that confidence in myself and the privilege to be able to be like, okay, I know I've already done this. I can make it work. I know how to build a business. I know how to get clients. I know how to do da, 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 da. So I can do this. And so all that being said, I have decided to change what I'm doing in my agency. I'm going to be changing what services I'm going to be offering. It's still going to be social media, but it's more content marketing and custom content marketing. And I'm still working on it as I'm filming this, and I will be working on it over the course of the summer. It's currently end of May 2024, and I'll be planning to launch this in August, September. So I'm going to be building in public, essentially. I'm going to be telling people exactly what I'm working on, what mistakes I'm making, what I've learned, calls I've had, just all of the things to show you how I'm building a business in public to help give you confidence and to give myself confidence and give other people confidence that it's okay to build in public. You get a lot more support from people and cheerleaders, and it just helps keep you going, and it also helps hold you accountable for making big changes like this. So I'm going to be posting about this on Threads. If you're on Threads, you can follow me over there, or on LinkedIn, which if you're on LinkedIn, follow me over there. But I'm posting both in both places for people to kind of follow along on my journey of what it is that I'm going to be doing. I'm very excited about it. I feel very passionate about it. Something that is new to the space, the processes that we're going to be using in the system. And so I'm going to be testing that and talking about it and just all of the things. Anyway, if you want to stay up to date with that, you can follow me over there. But that does bring me to this being the season finale of this podcast. So like I said, I need to dedicate my energy, my resources, my time, all of those things to building that business and kind of rebuilding my agency. So I'm having to take some time away from the podcast as much as I have loved doing it. I always look forward to recording. I always look forward to episode releases. The guest episodes really light me up and I enjoy them. But I need to focus right now on building that agency back up to where I would like it to be. And then I'm going to come back and start with season 2 of the podcast. And I'm excited. I think the first episode of season 2 is going to be updating you on everything I've been doing and how successful the business has been. So I'm excited and I am forecasting this to be around early 2025, so January-ish, which honestly is only 6 months away. We're almost in June, or actually we will be in June when this airs. So 6 months and I'll be back with more podcast episodes, hopefully. Definitely follow me on Instagram, connect with me over on Threads or LinkedIn so you can stay up to date with what is going on. But I just want to say that I really appreciate each and every one of you, whether this is your first episode you're ever listening to, or you have been coming back time and time again, whether you've been here from this episode 1 a year and a half ago, or, you're a newer listener, whatever it is, I appreciate you. I appreciate the DMs. I appreciate the ratings and the reviews. All of this has made such a huge difference in my life and really lifts me up. And I'm going to miss recording this, but I'm also really excited to share with you what I'm up to and what's working in the new business elsewhere. So thank you so much for listening. We will chat again soon. It is not bye forever. It is bye for now. And I'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Learn more about my digital template shop, online courses, and mentorship program by going to my website at sugarpunchmarketing.com. And while you're there, make sure you join my safe, supportive community created exclusively for social media managers. It's 100% free to join and packed with really amazing resources, trainings, and people. See you next time.